the opportunities I've like come across while being in Web3 have just been like mind-blowing. And like being in Web3, I've met so many different artists that have like taught me new skills, or I can go to about specific things, or have inspired me to try experimenting more, because I do love to experiment.
Hi everyone, and welcome yet to another episode of NewForum. And we are always excited to bring you inspiring guests on our podcast. And we are powered by NewCoin Foundation and focused on fostering the expansion of decentralized social applications, also known as Social 3.0, by forming an ecosystem and a community of visionaries, creators, and investors. And on today's episode, we're super excited to have with us Abieyuwa. She's a multidisciplinary artist and curator who is part of multiple Web3 communities such as African NFT Community, Friends with Benefits, and Her Story DAO. And I'm super stoked to talk with her about the journey as an artist in Web3, her curation story, and also being part of so many cool DAOs and communities. Hey, Abby, we're happy to have you on today.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
So I want to know, like, what was your journey into the Web3 space and how did you got started with everything?
Yeah, so I was in school and I finished right as the pandemic was starting. I majored in new media art. And I was actually thinking of like maybe starting a photography company or something. But of course, once like the pandemic started, we had lockdown. So I was like, I don't think that's gonna work out. And so my sister invited me to Clubhouse. And so I started seeing rooms with the title crypto art and like NFT, and I couldn't understand what that was. I was like, I've never heard of this thing before. I even tried Googling it because I thought it was a specific style of art. But then I started listening in on the rooms and I like started learning about the blockchain. It was very difficult. But Sersu, he did like a step-by-step on his Instagram on how to mint your first NFT. So I followed that and I minted my first one in February of 2021. And then I just went from there. I was invited to be in a crypto voxel show for Black History Month by IRL Art and Rob the Museum, or Sell Art Not Drugs. He has like different names, but yeah, I was invited to be in a like virtual show, and then it just kind of went from there. So I started like February 2021.
That's pretty quick that you went in. And I'm wondering, like, for you as an artist, I see you do like very woman-centered pieces. I really love your style of art, and I'm wondering, like, when you make your art, like, what is the most important thing that you think about, and yeah, what are your kind of like your intentions with your artwork?
My intentions are kind of to like celebrate or focus on the positive aspects of being a Black woman. In the past, I have done work about like colorism and like hair texture discrimination, things that I've dealt with in my personal life. And it kind of has a toll on you when you have to like dive in deeper to those topics. So I was like, I can't just, I don't know, I didn't want to keep putting myself through that thing because I already deal with it in real life. Like I don't want to just dive in further. So I'm like, let me celebrate like the beauty and the unique, the unique aspects of being a Black woman. And so I try to put that in my art as much as I can, in hopes of like having positive representation and just beauty in general for like young Black girls and Black women, just to appreciate like our beauty.
I love that. Yeah, we really at NewForum and NewCoin, we really celebrate like diversity and inclusivity. And I love that you kind of like turned this thing into something positive and something empowering for you and your communities. And also, I feel like there's the stigma on artists that they say, oh, we always have to suffer for our creativity or for our art, which is, people go through things, but it's nice that you have a different take on how you express yourself and how you use your medium. And I'm wondering, like, how did you find such amazing communities, and what are like the benefits of being part of those DAOs and communities you're a part of?
Yeah, so when I started, like I it kind of felt like I was talking to myself, at least on Twitter, because that's where everything is happening. And so of course there are all those like engagement farming threads, like, oh, post your work and I'll retweet it, that kind of thing. So I was very alone and I didn't find any kind of like success. And I felt like I couldn't really talk to anyone because nobody I knew in real life was in Web3. So it was very lonely. And then on Clubhouse, I started getting more involved with like Black NFT art. And then from Black NFT art, African NFT Community was founded by Vintage Mozart, who's in Zimbabwe. And like he messaged me and asked me if I wanted to like help run the community. And so we just kind of built it from there. And then of course, Her Story DAO also, which is, you know, all about like supporting women and non-binary artists. And so like just slowly, I've just been finding different communities that I feel like I can, you know, contribute to in a positive way and that like I can relate to the people in it, basically.
Yeah, I feel like for all of us, like us growing up in this generation, and you mentioned the pandemic, it's like we had to find connections somewhat, and this space really gave us an opportunity to explore different sides of ourselves. You know, you can be part of multiple DAOs or multiple projects, and you don't have to be like one specific identity as well, or one kind of person. You can contribute where you want to, kind of. I really appreciate that about Web3 communities. And I'm wondering, how do you build an authentic and engaging community for yourself and also around your artwork and NFTs? Like, what is the most important in your experience when building a project and having people engaged? Like, what is your tips there?
I like to post a lot of work in progress. Like I don't post the full image, but I'll post like a little section just to keep people like trying to guess what I'm doing or keep them, you know, engaged in what I'm doing. And then sometimes people are like, oh, can I see a sneak peek? That kind of thing. So I share that on Twitter and my IG story. And then when I actually finish the artwork, I usually try and explain the meaning behind it. I'll do a thread or like a bunch of posts on Instagram explaining like how I did it and the meaning behind it. And I feel like I'm also very accessible. So a lot of times people will message me about the art I'm doing or just like tips in general. I created like a Twitter community about 3D art. And so we all help each other and talk about what we're working on, that kind of thing. And I host spaces. So yeah, I just think like being accessible and just engaging with the people around you definitely has helped me.
That's great. And how did you adapt to these new tools? Like, did you always had like an interest in 3D, or did you saw like the opportunity and was like, oh, I'm gonna really like get my skills here in this space?
Yeah, so since we were on lockdown, I always had an interest in 3D, but I just felt like it was hard or like maybe the technology cost too much. So I don't know, I didn't even like bother. But since I had nothing else to do, I was like, okay, well, now's the time. Let me try and figure this out. And so then that's when I found Blender, which is free. And then I like followed some tutorials. So I learned like how the whole app works. And then from there, I just started like freestyling and seeing what I could come up with and create. So yeah.
Yeah, I want to say to our community out there, don't be afraid to try. It's never too late to, you know, try a new medium. And like you said, Blender, for example, is free. I think there's other things that you can get like a student discount or, you know, like get your way around it. So don't be afraid to try out these tools. And for you as an artist, like, how did that change, like being part of Web3 and like, you know, having this experience, like how did that change you and your life and your process as an artist? And what are like the benefits of being in these communities?
Yeah, definitely. Like I've done so many things I never imagined before. I've had my art shown in during Art Dubai. My art's been shown in Senegal, you know, around the world, places that I haven't even been. My art has been, which is like something I just couldn't like I used to dream about. And like I went to Art Basel, I went to NFT NYC like 2 years in a row and I spoke on panels during it. Like the opportunities I've like come across while being in Web3 have just been like mind-blowing. And like being in Web3, I've met so many different artists that have like taught me new skills or I can go to about specific things, or have inspired me to try experimenting more, because I do love to experiment with my art. And so I've seen new possibilities due to like the type of people I hang around with. So yeah, like Web3 has just been crazy, because before I wasn't earning money from art. I was just doing it. And then I was, of course, studying in school, but like I never really had the business mindset. So I didn't really know how I could make money off of it until I got into Web3.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see more women in the space to thrive and build their own thing, their own sustainable business all around the world, like through decentralization, because I think there's so many people in emerging countries that, you know, should have the opportunity to do the same thing. And I think Web3 is the first stepping stone there. We're not there yet, but I think we can have that mindset already that we want to get there. Like we want to open more possibilities for people. I'm wondering, like, what are you looking forward to in the future? Like, what are some of the projects that you're excited about? And in general, like, what are you looking forward to in the future?
Well, I've been posting a bunch of like work in progress of a collection I'm working on. Because like with a collaboration I recently did with an artist called Made by Mike. It was my first time working with full body like 3D, no, sorry, my second time working with full body 3D model. And so like I combed and styled the hair myself. And so I found out that I really like doing that. So the collection is kind of based off of that. So I've been posting little sneak peeks of it. It's very time consuming, but I feel like it's going to be very rewarding in the end. And like, I don't know, I'm always just looking for opportunities. I've just been applying for different things. So hopefully I get good news from one of those. I plan on applying to Super Rare. I had never have, but I plan on applying and hopefully, you know, get good news from that too.
You're already on Super Rare, you know, like we're already putting it out there.
Well, hopefully, but I don't know. And then I would like to own a physical gallery in the future. And I've actually been talking to like a friend of mine. And we're like, oh, maybe we can start with like onboarding people in our local area and get a grant, and then we can like work our way up from there, different things like that. So yeah, I just have like a lot of goals and dreams, so we'll see.
I ship in on that. Like I'm down, like I'm down for that. I personally love you know, creative people. That's why I'm with this company. That's why I do the podcast as well, because I always had a thing for creatives. And I think what I learned as well through working online, working in Web3, there's this opportunity as well to meet up in real life and have these amazing events and co-working sessions that are like on a different level, I think. And I really truly hope that you're gonna get the gallery and we're gonna see some cool NFT art. I'm wondering, like, is there any before we wrap up the interview, is there any like advice or something you would give like a Web3 starter on their way that you would want to say, or some last words to our community?
I would definitely say get involved. It can be based on like where you're from, or it can be based on your interests. Like there's a bunch of photography communities. We have the 3D one, like different things like that. Just like try and find a group of people and you guys just help each other and lift each other up, because that's what a lot of us do. Like when someone has new work, we help get it out there for more people to see, that kind of thing. Because without that, like I said in the beginning, it was very lonely. I didn't make any sales or anything like that. And so once I like made friends and got involved, then like things started happening for me. So definitely like try and find some people that you fit in with and help each other, you know, reach your goals.
I think that's true. Like, where, you know, it's a space where you have to connect with people. And I'm also wondering, like, when you do your NFT drops in the beginning, like, did you plan, okay, I'm gonna make this many pieces and I'm gonna drop on this platform? And how was that whole, you know, because I feel like there's obviously so many platforms and then there's gas fees and everything. So I'm wondering, how was your mindset when you started off like your first drop?
Yeah, well, my first one, it was literally just in the middle of the night, because I had been listening to all these clubhouse rooms and I was just like, okay, let me just do it. Like I just need to put something on the blockchain. And so it was just on one night on Rarible, I just minted something and I was like, oh wow, gas fees or something else. But after that first one, then when I was in the virtual show, they actually paid for our gas fees, but then I ended up having like leftover ETH, so that helped me like mint more in the future. So yeah, it's a little different now though, because gas fees are a lot lower. So like new people are kind of lucky.
So
and I
get
feel
in
like
there now.
yeah,
before they go up again.
yeah, and like everyone kind of knows what to do now. Now you can have a Twitter space, drop party, all that kind of thing. But back then I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna do it. And yeah, so definitely have a plan, I guess. Don't do what I did.
Yeah, I think you're so right. And maybe connecting with NFT artists like yourself that have more experience is probably really, really great for people out there. So thank you so much, Abby, for being part of today's forum. And we also want to know, where can our community find you on social media?
Yeah, on Twitter, I'm Abieyuwa Art. It's like my name and then the word art. Instagram is the same, except Abieyuwa.art. That's also my website. But yeah, if you just start typing my first name, I feel like I'm probably one of the first ones to pop up. So yeah, just Twitter, Instagram, all that.
Amazing. And I'm looking forward to, all of the collaborations and also the gallery in the future. We're gonna do a part 2 when we are there.
Yeah.
So also thank you to everyone who tuned in today. And if you guys want to get more involved within our community, make sure to follow us on social media. We are NewForum_NCO and also NewCoin. And yeah, make sure to follow us on YouTube and stay engaged in our Discord. I'm going to drop all of the links down below, and we see you in the next episode. And thank you, Abby, so much for being part of today.
Thank you for having me.